Tonight, actually, I have a very interesting Zod Hashem Dvar Torah that actually starts with a question. As a matter of fact, it's a question that somebody asked. But it's also connected to our parasha, and it's connected to last night's shiur. It's connected to a lot of things. B'siyata dishmaya, we'll try to do our best to keep the time to around an hour before we start taking your other questions. But B'ezrat Hashem, I think that once you hear some of the things, you may not even want to ask questions because you'll be dumbfounded at how extraordinary and endless our Torah is, Baruch Hashem, how everything is in it. As the Mishnah in Avot says, Afochba ve'afochba dekulaba. Delve into it and delve into it because everything is in it. So the question is, if somebody did something bad to me, am I allowed to hate him? Now, everyone knows the answer is no. You're not allowed to hate because we have a mitzvah in the Torah. It says that you have to love another Jew. You're not allowed to keep a grudge, and so on and so forth. But at the same token, we have a Gemara that says that if he specifically did something bad to you, such as take money, then you're allowed to hate him as long as he has not returned the money. So it's not exactly such a simple mitzvah. There's other details to it that we're going to get into. There's other details to it. Are we allowed to take revenge? Well, it all depends. What did you do? What did he do? And so on and so forth. So last night, in the shiur last night, we brought a chidush by the Chatam Sofer, who brings a Gemara in Masechet Nedarim, where the Gemara asks, how come the Torah scholars of that day, although they were scholars, their children were not scholars? Because normally you would assume that someone that's a scholar and dedicates their life to Torah, their children should also be scholars, but that wasn't the case. And the Gemara brings a rebuke on the sages of that day, those scholars of that day, and says that because they didn't bless the Torah. So then the Chatam Sofer says, what does it mean they didn't bless the Torah? They didn't do a blessing? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that they used the Torah, those sages in that time, used the Torah in order to beautify their own personal world, but not necessarily fulfill the Torah in order to sanctify Hashem's name, in order to do the Torah because it's the will of Hashem, because they misunderstood one of the statements in the Torah, which is that you have to love v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You must love your brother like you love yourself, and this is the klal gadol b'Torah. This is a big teachings in the Torah. It's a big rule in the Torah, and they, in essence, like unfortunately many do today, have turned that into the entire Torah instead of a big rule in the Torah. And there's a very big difference between this being the entire Torah and this being a big rule in the Torah. We're going to get to the reason, B'ezrat Hashem, of why, what does it mean to be a big rule in the Torah. And because at the end of it all, the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create the world other than for the reason of us to fear Him. So in essence, telling us that if a person learns Torah, does mitzvot, and learns how to fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he has fulfilled his purpose. But if he doesn't, even if he knows the entire oral Torah and written Torah by heart, but he does not have fear of the Almighty, it's better off he didn't do anything. It's as if he did nothing. He'll get punished even for his Torah. Why? Because Yirat Hashem, iotzaro. The fear of the Almighty, that's his treasure. So in essence, it tells us in many places, Gemara Masechet Shabbat, Masechet Avodah Zarah, and many other places, that the fear of the Almighty is the main treasure. It's the main purpose in the world, and there is no such thing as sanctifying Hashem's name without fearing Him first. And many people confuse this, but they say, wait a minute, but why should I fear when it sounds so scary when really I could go to a much nicer version that some other a Care Bear type of teacher is telling me that I should just love everybody, be a lovey-dovey, kumbaya, whether you violate Shabbat and is intermarried and eats pig. That doesn't matter. I should love him anyway because he's a Jew. Shouldn't I just listen to that? It sounds much nicer. Torah says, no, you're not allowed to do such a thing. And the Care Bear Rabbi should also do tshuva with you because he's misteaching you, he's misunderstanding the Torah. And the Gemara says that the Chatam Sofer brings this chidush, and it's actually quoted in a few places by the Chatam Sofer, that this is the reason why the sages got punished at that time, because they misused the Torah and in essence used the Torah in such a way that it was just to beautify their own personal lives and not necessarily to sanctify Kadosh Baruch Hu's name. So even scholars, and we're not talking about the scholars that are the greatest sages in history, but certain scholars at that time can make mistakes. And many people do make these mistakes where they read something and they don't look at the entire teaching. They just look at one single statement and make a conclusion based on that single statement. And 9 out of 10 times you're going to arrive at the wrong conclusion, because the Torah is a endless well, where if you learn the different aspects of different things, you'll see that there's a lot more to everything. Nothing is concluded with a single statement. But with that being said, people have made the mistake in the past, even though when there were scholars. People are making that mistake in this generation, so much so that the wicked rabbi in Efrat, Riskin, that we talked about recently, that is creating all types of mamzerim in the world and all types of desecration of Hashem, his Talmid, Brandis, he just was quoted in an article where he's proud to announce his appointment of the new chief Orthodox rabbi of a certain shul in Efrat in Israel, a woman. She's religious. There's no question about her religiosity as far as whether she keeps Shabbat or not. But to say that a woman is going to be the chief rabbi, in so many words, of a synagogue, nothing like that has ever happened in the Orthodox world. Nothing ever like that will happen in the Orthodox world. And so, but we just quoted something. They're not Orthodox. They're Reform, but they like to call themselves Orthodox. Just like my dear friend from the Iguda Rabbanim told me, in the old days, it was very simple. If you are Reform, you called yourself Reform. If you are conservative, you call yourself conservative. If you are Orthodox, you call yourself Orthodox. Today, the Reform call themselves Orthodox, and the Orthodox call themselves Orthodox. So you have no idea what's going on until you see what people are doing, and this is unfortunate. But this whole expression of love to this woman that is leading now a keilah in Eretz Yisrael is a distortion of this very same thing that we talked about yesterday, which is to love everybody, and that's the whole Torah. It's not the whole Torah. It's a big rule in the Torah, but it's not the whole Torah. In fact, there's even a mitzvah to hate certain people, them specifically, because they're violating the Torah, but there's certain things you're not allowed to do. So this is some of the things we're going to go into today, Bezat Hashem, who you're allowed to hate, who you're obligated to hate even, who you're not allowed to hate, who you're obligated to love, and so on and so forth. And what does it really mean to love another Jew? What does it really mean?